What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Crush City Territory. I'm Chandler Rome along with Tyler Stafford. Following what I believe is one of the best baseball games you can ever watch. It lasted 2 hours and 8 minutes. There was great pitching. There was an intriguing managerial decision in the eighth inning with Joe Espada letting Framber Valdez face Bobby Witt Jr. for a fourth time. And there was a thrilling ending as Isaac Paredes hit his first career walk-off home run into the Crawford boxes, and the Astros eked out a 2-1 win against the Royals to put them at 21-20. They're a little bit over the quarter pole of the season, Tyler, but this is our podcast, so we're just going to say that this is the quarter pole of the season.
Yeah, it was a fast one. I mean, it's 10:15 right now, and you're back home recording a podcast, which I don't think either one of us expected for a 7 o'clock game. So congrats on the fast game. But yeah, I feel like I blinked and it was the fifth inning. I looked up. Tonight was a preschool graduation for my kids, like their end of the year thing. So I got back and it was like 7:20 and we were already in second inning, third inning. By the time we got them to bed, it was like the sixth. I was like, what happened? So I was in and out for a lot of the game today, but I texted you during the game. Fromber's stuff was unbelievable today. I mean, it's not just you know the results that he was getting, but the movement of his pitches today was insane. Did it look like that live too?
To pull the curtain back, after the third inning, when Framber Valdez had gotten 9 outs on 23 pitches, I had 4 paragraphs written of a no-hitter story. I had looked up how many guys had thrown more than one. I had looked up what this would have been in Astros history. Like, I had it all because it looked that good.
So it's your fault. Everyone, we can agree it's Chandler's fault.
Yeah, it is. It's my fault. But the stuff looked that good. Like, he looked like vintage Fromber. They were swinging early. It was all ground balls. He got 12 ground ball outs tonight. The Royals swung 17 times against his curveball and whiffed 11 times. This was vintage Fromber. It was as vintage as it can get, and it's why Joe Espada let him face Bobby Witt Jr. in the eighth inning with the go-ahead run at second base. He had Brian Abreu hot in the bullpen, but as he said after the game, this is Fromber's game. And we don't need to relitigate the why they're not going to trade him piece of this. But I think if anyone thought they were going to trade him, if they were in contention at the deadline, the last 2 or 3 starts have settled that. Unless you want AJ Blueball to pitch game 2 of a wild card series. Did that interest you at all?
No, I'm good. Yep. Yeah. Thank you.
AJ Blueball is a very nice young man, though. Who knows? Given the Astros pitching infrastructure, he'll probably be pitching like game 4 of the ALDS this year.
Sure.
Given how that works. Like we mentioned, the Astros have approached and maybe even exceeded the quarter pole a little bit. They're 21-20. I think, Tyler, if my math is right, that means they're on pace to go 82-80. I could be wrong, but who knows? To me, like, it feels like this is where they should be. Like, I don't look at this season and I see games that, oh, they gave that game away. That's a game they shouldn't have lost. Or, and conversely, like, I don't see many wins they've gotten where I'm like, man, like, they had no business winning that game. Like, this feels right. 21-20 after 41 games kind of feels right for this team.
Yeah, it's one of those things that we talked about where I think last year, watching them stumble out of the gate, you kind of looked at the team and were like, man, this team's really underperforming. Like, things are weird. But yeah, this year they came into the season feeling like a 82 to 85 win team, and they're playing at that pace. And I think it's just been so long in Houston that we've actually watched an 82 win team that everybody's got a little shell shock of just like, wait, is this like what these teams look like? Because I will say it makes the regular season really fun. I know we've mentioned this before, but I mean, every game is a big game, and you're like into it, and you care about decisions that in 2017, 2019, I was not caring about who the third reliever brought in a 6-1 ball game was, but I care now. I'll let you know. I'm upset when the guy that I didn't want comes out. So it's been really fun. In that aspect, I'm sure people are already commenting, it hasn't been fun. What are you talking about? But in that aspect, it's been fun.
Yeah, I had to tell someone on X the other day, and I was very polite about it. But it was in the middle of, I think, the Ryan Gusto got lit up in the first game against Kansas City, gave up 7 runs in 2 2/3 innings, and someone replied to like the line. Gusto's line was like, "Oh, this team is just maddening. They're not any good." And I was like, "Guy," I responded very nicely. I was like, "This is normal baseball."
Yeah.
Like what they did from 2018 to 2022 is not normal baseball. Like you are living now how basically 28 other teams live all year, where like every game you go into, it's a fight. Like you have to show up. You have to like play 9 innings. You like those 2019 team, the 2022 team, even 2021 team at times, like if they were healthy and they rolled the balls out there was an 85% chance they were winning that game. And
Yep.
they could roll out of bed and win 90 games. And that's just not how baseball works. Like, welcome to the other side. Welcome to how the rest of the world lives. And I agree with you. Like, as a writer, as a reporter, like covering this team, this is much more fascinating to cover. Just every game means a little bit more. There's a lot more intrigue and a lot more weight behind a lot of moves when, it was really hard in like 2019 like Justin Verlander threw 8 scoreless innings again. And then the next day, Garrett Cole threw 9 through a complete game today. And then Zach Greinke, when he came along, this is a lot more just like intriguing and fascinating because of kind of the machinations going in behind the scenes. And yeah, they're 21 and 20. Going into today's game, Baseball Reference has a Pythagorean win loss thing that, you know, averages out run differential, averages out a bunch of different kind of underlying things. Their Pythagorean record was 22 and 18 going into today, which means that maybe they've gotten a little bit unlucky. I don't feel that really watching them, but again, like we said, 21 and 20 kind of feels like where this team should be at the quarter pole. Now, very rarely in a baseball season do you get like an opportunity to like say, all right, like to hand out like awards like mid-season. Like it's always at mid-season, but we're going to do it at the quarter pole. Tyler, who's your quarter pole MVP?
I mean, it's got to be Hunter Brown, right? I mean, that's as good as it can get. I mean, he's been unbelievable the whole year. We we haven't really seen any real stumbles. He's there's not much to say about him other than he is a leading Cy Young candidate, um, which is crazy because this time last year it was, we're like 2 weeks removed from, is this guy going to get sent down to AAA? What's going to happen? And now he is a premier starter, just an established ace, and it's been incredible to watch.
He leads the major leagues with a 1.86 FIP. He leads the major leagues with 2.1 BWAR of all pitchers. So yeah,
Pretty good.
he's a bona fide ace. Like,
Hmm.
and he's going to face Jacob DeGrom on Thursday, and that'll be a sight for all to see. Because we want to like keep viewers, and because we want people
Sure.
to like keep watching this show, I'm not going to say Hunter Brown is my quarter pole MVP. I'm going to go Jeremy Pena, who homered tonight to off of Chris Bubik to get it at 1-1 to tie the game at 1 after Framber Valdez um, allowed a rare run in the 5th inning. He's been everything that they needed. This is the breakout that you were waiting on from Jeremy Pena. He's got an 807 OPS in his first 158 at bats. Since he's taken over that leadoff spot, the lineup has really kind of become a little more dimensional, and the run production has tracked up. I mean, the offense is better with him at the top of the order, and it's all the underlying stuff too. Like he's lifting the ball more. He's not hitting the ball on the ground. His walk rate is exponentially higher. He's only walked 11 times in 158 at bats, but still, like that's for Jeremy Pena. That's pretty good, a percentage wise. His on base percentage is over 350, which with his speed, they've been begging for so long for Jeremy Pena to get on base more, show his speed, steal some bags. And you're just seeing that this is a guy coming into his own. And I think, Tyler, it's a cautionary tale that everyone that, wants to think that this happens quickly, that player development is so linear that, the minute a prospect or a guy after his rookie year, like, flourishes, like, that's not always the case. Like, it takes time. Like, this is a hard sport. And Jeremy Pena, for as much as he did as a rookie, for as good as he was, Tyler, like, I don't think a lot of people remember how little minor league baseball he played, just given he broke his wrist in 2021, I believe. Had the COVID shutdown in 2020, and then 2022, he's starting at shortstop on opening day in the big leagues. Like, this is a guy that didn't play much in the minor leagues, and it's just a really, really personifies the fact that sometimes it takes a little time for these guys to come into their own.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen just a more mature approach, which is interesting that moving to the leadoff spot did that for him, because I feel like, Altuve has benefited from moving back because it forces him to be a little bit more patient. And for some reason, Pena seems more patient in, leading off, similar to what George Springer did when they moved him to the leadoff spot, and it really helped him cut down on trying to do too much and just focus on putting bat to ball and waiting for his pitch. And yeah, we've seen Pena do that so far this year, and he's been very, very good.
Jeremy Pena did not play Double-A baseball before coming up to the big leagues. He played 30 games in Triple-A before coming up to the big leagues. Like, played 182 total minor league games before he started on opening day in 2022 for the Astros major league team. So I think that gets lost a little bit, that this was still a player that needed experience. I get he was a college draftee, but he played at Maine. He didn't face anybody worth a damn in whatever conference they're in. Like, he was an older draftee, but this was still a guy that he needs to kind of figure out who he is, figure out himself. And as we've talked about before, his rookie season, everything up until the playoffs was pretty much what we've seen the past 2 years. And then he had a 3-week heater that just came at the perfect time. And maybe now we're seeing a little bit of that heater return to start this season. So I think, Tyler, those two, it's kind of unquestioned. Like, I don't think there's anyone else that can really creep into MVP discussion at this point. Maybe Josh Hader, but I mean, he just doesn't. I mean, I don't know how you feel. I mean, we just talked about Hunter Brown forever, but Josh Hader, you see him so seldomly that it's hard for me to give him the nod over a guy that plays every day and then a guy that is going to pitch every 5th day or 6th day as a starter.
Yeah, but Hader has been unreal. I mean, the whole bullpen. I mean, if you wanted to lump the whole bullpen in as an MVP of just, they've had to come in and give a lot of length in certain games, and did really well. I mean, again, we talked about it, but yesterday they're down 7-0 in the 3rd inning, and hold the rest of the game scoreless. And again, the Astros start out with a disaster and make it interesting, and that only happens because of the bullpen, and that really speaks to the depth of the bullpen, which is something that we were concerned about coming into the year. But they've really been able to have success outside of just the two guys that you knew you could count on in Abreu and Hader.
And one thing that allowed them to do, the bullpen threw 6 2/3 scoreless in the series opener against Kansas City. The offense came back, and that forced Kansas City to use its leverage arms. Like, Lucas Erceg pitched in a game that the Royals led 7-0 after 3 innings. Same thing for Carlos Estevez, their closer. Same thing for John Schreiber, who's a leverage reliever for them. He had to come in the game on Monday and get a few outs. Guess who Isak Paredes hit the walk-off homer on Tuesday? John Schreiber. And I'm not saying that one led to the other, but he wasn't as fresh as he would have been if maybe the bullpen comes in, gives up a bunch of runs, and that's a 12-0 game that none of the leverage relievers pitch in. So everything's kind of connected, especially in these big 17 days in a row stretches. We just talked about the good. We're going to talk about maybe a little bit less good right after this message from our friends at Foul Territory.
FT fam, let's talk about the HOF app. If you're into parlays, but sometimes you're missing the mark more than you would like to, can I introduce you to some serious analytics on an app that is easy to read? and comprehend. And I'm sitting next to a man who knows how to place a parlay.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is breaking down a parlay with this Hall of Fame app. There's the situations that you'll find easier to do. It's very helpful and understanding. And if you like, gambling, sometimes this is really good to know. So get on there, get on that Hall of Fame app and check it out.
Yeah, this is info that will help you, okay? With a 4.9 rating in the App Store and over 6,000 5-star reviews, safe to say that HOF has already helped a lot of people bet smarter. For a limited time only, FT listeners can get a 7-day free trial and 50% off their first month when they use code FOUL at checkout. Download the HOF app on iOS or Android. Enter code FOUL and you're all set.
That one feels a little too on the nose for today, Tyler.
Yep.
Real quick, is Pete Rose a Hall of Famer?
No. I mean, we can get into this elsewhere, but I mean, look, if you're running a Hall of Fame, like the one thing aside from the off the field things, which is a totally different discussion, but you can't bet on the sport that you're involved in. You can't allow that. I mean, that would ruin the integrity quicker than just about anything. So no, come at me, people.
I view the Hall of Fame for what it is. It's a museum in New York that honors baseball players.
If that were true, I would agree with you, but it's not. It becomes a different thing. I know that's what it's supposed to be, but it has become a different thing.
I think the best baseball players should be in the Hall of Fame. That's why I think Barry Bonds should be in. That's why I think Roger Clemens should be in. That's why I think Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. What he did, and I think it should be reflected on his plaque when he is enshrined, if he is enshrined, that he did receive a ban for betting on the sport. I think you can do this two ways. You can acknowledge that this man is the greatest hitter or one of the greatest hitters that has ever lived. You can also have his transgressions on his plaque. Who's stopping that? So you can do the same thing with Barry Bonds. You can do the same thing with Roger Clemens. You can do the same thing with whomever you think shouldn't be in because of whatever. You can have there's nothing stopping them from writing on the plaque, this happened, and this happened. Because again, what is the Hall of Fame? It is a museum, and museums are there to depict history, and that is part of their histories, and it's going to be forever intertwined with their histories. To avoid us getting into a knockdown drag out about this, who's your LVP at the quarter pole? Who's your least valuable Astro at the quarter pole?
Do you know what Baseball Reference says is the least valuable player?
It's probably not who I think it is. Is it Altuve?
Yep. Yep. Negative 0.4, or I'm not going to pick Jose Altuve because I'm not an idiot. I am going to go with Christian Walker. He started to look a little bit better in the past couple of weeks, but I do feel like I have a lot of things going on in life right now. Work has been stressful. My wife is going to have a baby at any minute. I mean, we might not even finish this episode because I got to go to the hospital. And to add to that, 3 times a night, I have to watch Christian Walker with runners on first and second swing and miss or ground out to the pitcher. There's too many other things that I have to worry about, and I feel like I've had to do that a whole lot. And for that reason alone, he is going to wear the unfortunate crown of LVP for me.
Do you want to know probably the most obscene stat from his start that probably contributes to why you have this visceral feeling? He has struck out 47 times this season.
Cool.
30 of them have come with a runner on base.
That makes sense. That's what it feels like.
And, again, I agree with you. He's looked better. He has looked better the last 3-4 weeks. It looks like he is rounding into something that resembles the guy they thought they were signing. His OPS is up to 640. Again, he started so bad that it's going to take a while for the counting stats and the round numbers to get up. But it just seems like he comes up so much with runners on. And again, we're not sitting here asking him to hit a home run. We're not asking. I mean, the Astros aren't asking for doubles. Like, put the ball in play. Like, move the baseball, advance runners.
I'd take a fly out to left field at this point and at least give me hope. Maybe they can tag up, even if they don't. I'd take that at this point. But that has not happened often.
My LVP is going to be an interesting maybe choice, given I'm not going to go Altuve, but I am going to go Yordan Alvarez. Look, I don't think the Astros expected Christian Walker to come here and struggle this badly, but I do think there is, and you've seen this, you saw it with Jose Abreu, you see it like across the sport. Like, when a player signs a massive free agent deal, that is not Shohei Ohtani, take him out of it. When a player signs a big deal, like, their first month, 2 months at a place can be a little rocky because like, it's a new place, new setting, new surroundings. Christian Walker didn't have a spring training. Like, I could get on board with the fact that he struggled. There's no real excuse for Yordan Alvarez. I mean, he's got to be the guy that carries this lineup, and it has not manifested that way. You can blame the hand, you can blame the top of the hand, the strained muscle that still has him on the IL, but if he was that hurt, then he should have not been playing for much longer before they put him on the IL a couple of weeks ago. I mean, he's slugging 340 and he's hitting 210. He's got an 84 OPS plus. He's hit 3 homers all year. Like, that can't happen for a guy that is making the money he's making, because his extension is getting toward the back end where the money increases, and the presence he is in the middle of the order, and understanding that they traded Kyle Tucker this offseason. They let Alex Bregman walk. The pressure went squarely to Yordan Alvarez, and quite frankly, he hasn't responded. And again, it's early. It's 41 games. We don't know how much the hand has really been impacting him. We don't know if that's been a real sticking point as to what's going on. Yordan has not spoken to the media since going on the IL, so it's hard to know. But it's not like he's been getting unlucky, Tyler. Like, there's just it has not been a Yordan Alvarez-esque start to this season, and it's been it's been maybe the biggest disappointment through 41 games. And Christian Walker, we just talked about him, but to me, Yordan Alvarez has been the biggest disappointment throughout the first 41 games of this season.
Yeah, I mean, relative to what you expected coming in, yeah, I mean, it just looks weird to see him not even just human, but not even replacement level, which is what he's been for the year so far. Yeah, I mean, you hope that it's the hand. You hope that was bothering him, and then something can change. The weird thing is, like, his numbers don't look that different. Like, his strikeout percentage is up a hair, but not anything crazy. And his average exit velocity is higher than it's been the last 2 years too. The thing that he's missing is the hard hit stuff, the maximum exit velocity. He really hadn't come close to the max EV that we've seen him do. And so, you hope that it's just the hand or something. But the real issue is that last season he hit 318 on fastballs. Do you want to take a guess at what he's hitting on fastballs this year?
I'd probably say about 200, maybe a little bit under.
177.
Yeah.
Which I don't think that your hot take. I don't think Yordan Alvarez is going to hit sub 200 on fastballs for the year. So again, that's why you kind of have the hope in the back of your mind of, like, was his hand bothering him, so he wasn't able to catch up on these or something. But yeah, I mean, it's very, very strange to watch him hit that poorly on fastballs this year.
Yeah, his average launch angle is a little bit higher than normal, resulting in maybe some more pop-ups, some more just not those line drive missiles we see him hit that go out of the ballpark, having a little maybe more trouble hitting line drives. Again, it's 41 games. You don't want to overreact to much. And, if I have faith in anyone to get things going, it's Jordan Alvarez. But the struggles against fastballs are a little bit concerning. And you do have to remember, too, when we thought he was healthy in April and he wasn't producing, that was when Christian Walker was probably at his lowest. Yainer Diaz was also at his lowest. There was no one in the lineup hitting other than Altuve, who hit ahead of Alvarez. So you also have to factor in that Alvarez wasn't getting anything to hit either. He was at a place in the lineup where pitchers just weren't going to mess with him. Pitchers were not going to give him much to hit. They were probably giving him a lot of spin, probably not coming in zone a lot, which probably led to him expanding a little bit. Probably felt some pressure because they weren't scoring runs, and he's the guy that they look to drive in runs. So probably felt a little bit of that too. But maybe I'm a little harsh, but when you're Jordan Alvarez, that shouldn't matter. If you want to be talked about as a top 5 hitter in the sport, you think pitchers willingly give Aaron Judge anything to hit, or Shohei Ohtani, or those guys, they make do with they get the one pitch of their at bat that they can hit, they drive it. And Jordan Alvarez just hasn't done that. And for this lineup to go anywhere, for them to get where they want to go, he's going to have to be better than he's been in the first 41 games of the season.
Yep.
No questions asked. So we're going to hear one more message from our friends at Foul Territory, and then we'll come back and talk about the biggest surprises from the first 41 games of the season. But first, a message from our friends at Foul Territory.
This is a straightforward show, so I'm going to be very straightforward with everyone about PXG. Fastest way to improve your performance on the golf course is to get yourself a PXG golf fitting. Go in there and let the experts help you.
I've been using PXG for a few years now, Scotty. They are perfect. I love the way they feel. They fit them perfectly to my swing. They weighted them. They put grips in them. They put shafts in them. They use their heads, and they fit my swing beautifully. They have definitely improved my game. They just recently hooked me up with their new Allen putter, which is off the chain. I was draining putts the other day, left and right. So I definitely say go get your fitting at PXG. Nobody goes golf the way PXG does.
Yes, and for a limited time, you could save up to 20% on your entire order. Head over to pxg.com/foul. That's pxg.com/FOUL to save up to 20% on your entire order. pxg.com/foul. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Before we get into actual players, Tyler, is there any facet of this season, or maybe position group that has surprised you more than others?
I'm surprised us whining about them not opening the roof before the season didn't work. There's been 6 or 7 games where it's 75 and clear outside. The roof is closed. I'm surprised. I thought we had more pull than that. I assume that everyone in the Astros front office is tuning in as soon as we drop these on YouTube. So that's what I'm upset about, is why has this not happened? But I mean, we already talked about it, but the bullpen has been a huge surprise. That was something that I think we talked about as a real glaring weak spot outside of Hader and Abreu. And I mean, everybody in that bullpen has been really, really good. I mean, my honorable mention, shout out player here is Steven Okert. Has been crazy good. He actually has a better ERA plus and a slightly higher WAR than Josh Hader has so far this year. 1.23 ERA, striking out more than a guy per inning. In 22 innings, he's given up 3 runs, struck out 24, and only walked 3 guys. So he has been so good, and that's just a surprise because I don't think anybody was expecting 33-year-old Steven Okert to come in and just lock down everything here, but he's been incredible.
Just like no one last year was expecting however old Taylor Scott was or he was 31 last year. Taylor Scott was 31 last year. No one was expecting 31-year-old Taylor Scott to come in and do what he did last year. There's one of these every year. And
that's fellow American citizen Taylor
Yes,
Scott to you.
yes. A great American.
Brother in arms.
But yeah, Stephen Okert is this year's shaggy left-handed Taylor Scott. I think this may be a little more sustainable. Who knows? I don't think he's going to strike everyone out to the degree that you just described, but they seem to really have a nice little leverage hierarchy has established itself of Stephen Okert, Brian King, Brian Abreu, Josh Hader, Caleb Ort. Occasionally his velocity was down the first couple outings after his injury, but he's kind of rebounded. I think Joe Espada wants Caleb Ort to be kind of his fireman because he's a hard thrower, can get it up to 98 when he's healthy. He has excelled in that role before. I think that's the role that Joe is really looking for him to seize. He hasn't really done it yet. So I'd probably put Caleb Ort maybe straddling the line between the high leverage group and the normal group, if you will. But they've got 4 or 5 guys on a given day that they can rely on to get high leverage outs. And they have the lowest bullpen ERA in the American League. They trail only the San Francisco Giants for the lowest bullpen ERA in baseball. To me, Tyler, the biggest surprise to me at the quarter pole, and I thought Isaac Paredes was going to be a decent player. I didn't know he was this good. And I'll be quite honest with you. Joe Espada has even mentioned this a couple of times on the record. I don't think the Astros thought Isaac Paredes was this good. And we're prisoners of the moment. He obviously just hit a walk-off homer to win a game for the Astros. But, I mean, does he have the quietest 805 OPS like you have ever seen?
Not only that, but man, he is good at third base.
Yes.
He's so much better at third base than I was expecting him to be. I don't know if, maybe the Astros just have some sort of blessing and curse situation in the corner infield where, all of the powers from first base get space jammed away into whoever's playing third base. And so once Bregman leaves, Isaac Paredes can come in and take over all of that. But he's so smooth at third. It seems like he makes 1 or 2 plays a game where you're just like, what in the world? How did he pick that, make the throw perfectly? And he just doesn't miss. Like it's not like he's just throwing it and he's wild over there. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. Like he is dead on every time. That has been the biggest surprise for me. But yeah, of course, the hitting too. I was a little more sure that he was going to be a pretty good hitter. He has a 123 OPS plus. His career was 114. So it's, he's a little bit better than he has been, but he's a good hitter. He has been his whole career, but watching him at third has been a huge surprise to me.
It's fun with small sample size, but Isaac Paredes has been worth 2 outs above average at third base through the first 41 games of this season. Alex Bregman has been worth 0 outs above average at third base through 41 games of this season.
And Paredes didn't make his teammate have to keep going to the media and saying how much he doesn't want to play another position. So double win there.
No one's going to confuse Isaac Paredes with Alex Bregman. I think Alex Bregman is still the far superior defender. But the thing about Isaac, the book on him coming in that I had heard and that the Astros had heard from just other places he had played, from their scouts and their analysts, guys like that, was that he was gonna field the balls that were hit to him. He was going to make every routine play. The range was diminished. And he has worked with Tony Perez-Chica, the Astros' new infield coach, and they've eliminated a lot of Paredes's like movements as he's going to the ball. They've kept him very compact because I have not watched videos of Isaac Paredes playing third base in Chicago or Tampa or Detroit, but I trust Tony Perez-Chica when he tells me that if you look at him, a lot of the times when he would have his first step or when he would break one way or the other, his arms would be out, his kind of there's a lot of unneeded movements as he's going. And one thing Tony has told him is stay compact, stay very inward, and that has helped his range. He doesn't have the strongest throwing arm. You see that maybe on the plays that Bregman made look so easy, where the backhands to the back of the glove or behind the base, and he would just make that throw across like it was nothing. I don't think Isaac Paredes is going to be a guy that's making those plays, but the closer he is to first base, and even on those plays where he's playing maybe off the bag and has to come in and get the ball, you saw that in I believe it was the Royals game where there was a drag bunt laid down. He came in, made a beautiful bare hand play and throw across the diamond because he was playing off the bag closer to first base. And the throw he didn't have to get a ton on the throw. He just had to come in on the bunt, make the bare hand, make the throw. And he was excellent at it. So Isaac, he has exceeded every expectation, and I think every way, because I think maybe he was pigeonholed into just this, he's going to hit 40 homers into the Crawford boxes, and he's going to hit 230 with 40 homers into the Crawford box and do nothing else. Like, I think maybe we as an observant group, like media fans, like maybe we underrated what his plate discipline was going to do, but like this dude, like he gets down 0-2 and he is still seeing at least 5 or 6 pitches in at bat. And he has really settled into that 3-hole, that spot in the batting order where, look, Pena and Altuve probably aren't going to see a ton of pitches hitting first and second. You get Isaac Paredes up there, he's going to see at least 4 or 5 pitches. He's going to make that pitcher work, and they're going to. It's not going to be an easy inning. So to me, he's been far and away the biggest surprise of this quarter poll.
Yeah, for me, I think the other one that everyone's thinking of is Jake Meyers. Jake Meyers is tied with Isaac Paredes for the team lead in OPS plus at 123. Jeremy Pena is right behind at 122. I mean, how good Jake Meyers is in center field, but honestly, just taking a few months off from the end of the season to the start of a new season, my brain forgets how good Jake Meyers is in center field. He covers everything. His jumps make plays that shouldn't be routine look routine for him. So it almost like lulls you to sleep how good he is in center field, because he ends up waiting for a ball to fall into his glove when other people would have to dive for things. And so that always coming into the season, but man, he's hitting. He's hitting well. And it's not like he's being carried by, 9 fluke home runs or something where, his OPS is higher just because he's run into some of those. Like he looks like a good hitter right now. His approach looks good. His hands, are not moving as much, wildly as they are when he's flailing a lot, where his body kind of gets out of control and his hands don't stay steady. He's repeating that, same thing over and over again. And he's laying off pitches, and he's forcing pitchers to come to him, and he's making really good contact when he swings. And it looks like a thing that, again, I still would not bet on him hitting 300 for the year. But I mean, we said it a bunch throughout the year. Like, he just has to be okay at hitting to be a good player. And he's been well above average at hitting. So even if he just falls back down to earth and is an average hitter, that's still a really, really good player. So that's been the biggest surprise for me.
He's got a career 25% strikeout rate. It's 17% this year. He's chasing 24% of the time after chasing 31% of the time last season. And he's whiffing 23% of the time after whiffing 27% of the time last season. He is making better decisions. And when he gets his pitches, he's not missing them. He is putting the ball in play. And look, that is the king. That's the key for Jake Meyers. It's kind of the same conversation we've had about Jeremy Pena. You put the ball in play. He's faster than anyone. Like him and Jeremy Pena are the 2 fastest guys on the team. So really, sometimes all it takes is just to put the ball in play and not swing and miss. And, the thing about Jake Meyers that can get a little bit frustrating for fans, I guess, a little bit, his career arc, you look at his career, he is far better historically when he puts the first pitch of a plate appearance in play. When he swings at the first pitch of a plate appearance or when he puts the first pitch of a plate appearance in play, his numbers are demonstrably better. So you do see, as a result, you see some first pitch outs, you see some first pitch swings, and those can come at some inopportune times. I think there were a couple tonight actually against the Royals, but I mean, that's his career. That's just what he does best. He does best when he ambushes early in the count. You saw in that game of his life he had in Chicago, he saw 15 pitches in the 4 at bats. 10 of them came in 1 at bat, and the other 5 came across 3. So that's just how he is. And because he's making better swing decisions, because he's making better choices on what to swing at early in counts, it's translating. And like you said, I don't think this pace is sustainable, but Tyler, like I remember writing a story in the offseason right around the tender, non-tender deadline for arbitration. Like Jake Meyers was on thin ice because we went to the GM meetings and Dana Brown was asked as many different ways he could be asked about the outfield situation. And he named every outfielder in the organization but Jake Meyers. And to see him now do this, like he's an everyday player. Like they can't take him out of the lineup. He has become an everyday player, and it's up. He's obviously got to produce to keep that moniker, but it's been quiet. And again, it goes back to what we were talking about with Jeremy Pena. Like these things don't happen overnight. Sometimes it takes a couple of years. He had a traumatic shoulder injury in 2021. And then the GM of the team at the time went on the radio and said, hey, we rushed this guy back and we have to overhaul our entire return to play procedure because we rushed this guy back from a traumatic shoulder injury. And now 2.5 years later, like he looks free, he looks easy. This looks like the Jake Meyers that I think James Click envisioned when he traded Miles Straw to make room for him on the roster.
Yeah. One stat that I think really speaks to the change in approach that you're seeing with him this year is last season, the last 2 seasons, the percentage that he hit just straight back up the middle was 32%, 34%. This season, it's 44%. So he is really focused on not trying to pull too much, not trying to go the other way, just hit it back up the middle. And he's been doing that a lot. I feel like just like I have the image in my head of Christian Walker with 2 men on and swinging through something, I have the image in my head of Jake Meyers hitting a line drive that bounces in front of second base and trickles in to center field. That feels like the result of most of his at-bats right now, and that's a winning strategy. So if he can keep that up, especially with his speed, he's going to beat out anything that either one of the guys up the middle have to go and get. So certainly something to keep an eye on for the rest of the year.
As we mentioned earlier, you're going to become a father again, imminently. This will probably be the last podcast you're on for a little bit. We hope we can get you back at some point when everybody's settled down.
I'll bring a mic into the hospital room,
cool,
and do it from there.
Nice. Hopefully when everyone's happy and healthy and sleeping somewhat, we can get you back on. But before we let you go, I'm going to give you the floor. Cam Smith at the quarter pole. Go.
Hey, you know how we said Jeremy Pena hadn't played a lot of minor league games? Cam Smith hasn't either. And listen, they said it on the broadcast today. You're too elite to know this, but the rest of us plebes have to watch on TV. Cam Smith has been the best defender on the Astros. He's really good, which, again, is stupid. He shouldn't be good at right field. That doesn't make sense. That is proof that this is a elite athlete who is going to be really good. And even with the struggles at the plate, and he has had plenty, he has not looked good. He has the same OPS as Jose Altuve right now, which again is not saying a ton right now. But even with the struggles that it feels like Cam Smith has a 94 OPS plus. So if this is the worst we're ever going to see of Cam Smith, the first 2 months in the big leagues after playing car salesman last year in college, if he's holding his own as an average hitter and is already an above average defender, if we close our eyes and don't pay attention to tonight, a really good base runner.
Oh man, I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
yeah, that one was rough. We won't talk about that too much. Really good base runner. He's going to be good. Fight me. I'll still be conducting the hype train from the hospital room if I need to.
Yeah, I'm certainly not giving up on Cam Smith, and he has handled himself so well in the big leagues. Just demeanor, persona, like nothing seems too big for him. Even the at bats where he's not having success, like you're not seeing wild swings. You're not seeing just a guy that looks lost. But
I'll leave him with this. I'm about to go into the mode for the next couple months where I got to entertain these other two kids while mom and the baby just get through life. So a lot of my job as dad for the next couple of months is just get these other kids out of the house and go do something. So after these 17 games in a row, Cam, I know you're going to need some time to relax. My offer to go to the zoo and look at penguins with you still stands. Let me know. You will have to go with my other daughters because I have to take them out of the house, but they're chill. They love penguins too. We'll go there. We'll get your mind off things and reset you after that off day.
you better bring a mic and do a podcast from there as you're looking at penguins with your children and Cam Smith, who you should probably adopt Cam Smith at this point.
I'm on it.
President of the fan club, you can be one of his daddies too. That would work.
Don't like that sentence, but don't listen to his part. Remember my heartfelt zoo pitch and not Chandler calling me daddy, please.
On that note, Tyler, good luck to you and Alicia in the coming days. Hopefully everything goes smoothly. Everyone is happy, healthy, sleeps through the night, and we will get you back as soon as the family allows you. And in the interim, I will be joined by hopefully a bevy of interesting co-hosts, maybe some current members of the Astros, maybe some members of the Astros traveling party, maybe some other media members in Houston that you should get to meet and get to know. But we will still keep Crush City territory on the track. The Cam Smith hype train will be going to the hospital, but we will keep Crush City territory on track here, even in Tyler's absence. If you want to follow him to see what the name is, how everyone's doing, you can do that at Tyler C. Stafford on X. I'm at Chandler_Rome. Please, as always, rate and review us on Apple. Subscribe on YouTube so you can get notified whenever we post another podcast, and one will be coming in the next couple days. Tyler, again, good luck. Happy for you and Alicia. Good luck with everything, and we will talk to you guys soon. Thanks.
Bye.